Well, g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day curd nerds. Welcome back. I'm Gavin Webber, and I'll be the host of the show. Who else is going to be the host of the show? This is episode 315. It's lovely to see everybody in the chat today. It's just lovely to see so many people there again. Okay. Of course, first thing during the show, let's say g'day and thank you to all of the members. So lots of YouTube members, and big shout out to Joanna Hammond, Molly Brown, Robin Fine-Silver, David Nelson, Croesus of Borg, and Herb Brooks, for taking up a membership or increasing or upgrading your membership. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And let's not forget all of the patrons as well. Big shout out goes to the last couple of patrons, Christy Forbes, and Catherine Andrews and Adam Forsyth. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting the show. Without your support, there wouldn't be much of a show. Keeps a roof over my head, that's for sure. And, keeps the cheesy questions flowing, of course. Now, videos coming up. I'm still working on the script for the cheesy questions by Curd Nerds, where I've taken the last 3 months' comments or questions in comments in YouTube videos and compiled some sort of format. I've kind of seen something on, what is it? I don't know. Some of these YouTube channels have these questions and things for the hosts. Anyway, I think it'll be funny, so we'll see how it goes. I'm making Baby Swiss at the moment, but I'm not having that much luck. It's in the warm phase at the moment, and it doesn't seem to be expanding. So it's only been a week, so I'm fingers crossed. Got another week of warm phase for the Propionic Shamani to start to create the eyes in the cheese, and hopefully that'll work out. It's kind of flattening a little bit. I don't think I pressed it hard enough and got enough whey out, but it's a new recipe. I've never tried it before. It's based on Jim Wallace's recipe over on cheesemaking.com at New England Cheesemaking Supply. So first time I've ever tried it. If it doesn't work out, then I'll show why it didn't work out. So we'll have to figure it all out. Of course, I bought some milk yesterday. Some goat's milk goat's milk. Yesterday cost me an arm and a leg, but with that I'm going to be making ibors, I think that's how you say it, or ibors. It's a Spanish cheese, goat's milk cheese, very similar in style to kefili, would you believe? I was looking at the recipe. And it's got a smoky paprika and olive oil rub, so that kind of reminds me of the good old smoky paprika kefili that we came up with. And that so many of you have actually made and really enjoy. So that's really interesting. So I'll be making that on Tuesday. I don't think I'll be making it today because I've got so many other things to do. And let's not forget the gallery at 30 minutes past the hour. There's a few submissions this week. Not as many as I'd like, but there certainly are some very interesting photos in the gallery, which is great. Now, more on that later. Just sort of let you know, here in Australia, you can retire, depending on how much money you have, of course, that you've saved up in your superannuation scheme. I think in the US, it's called a 401k, something like that. It's a superannuation scheme, right, where you contribute money during your working life and then you save it all up until you retire. Now, here in Australia, you can retire at 60. Now, that is fastly approaching for me. I am 60 next year. So I've done some maths, talked to some peoples, and I can comfortably retire from the workforce, even though this is my job, at 60 and get an annuity stream every month that is tax-free, which is good. So I will be picking up that. But what does that mean for the channel? Well, not much, because it's still going on. This channel, all of the revenue stream from this goes into our partnership, so it doesn't affect me personally. So as far as earning too much money not to get a tax-free annuity from my superannuation, so I'll be effectively retired, but not really, if that makes any sense. Anyway, and a few of you over the week have sent me emails and asked me how my health was. I did go to the doctors on Tuesday, Wednesday, one of those 2 days. And I've since then had some x-rays on my toes. I've also had some blood tests. And for those of you who love a good blood test, I tell you what, normally they're good. Not this one. So that's the resulting bruise from the extraction of said blood. Hopefully nobody faints. So some blood tests on whether the uric acid levels are high or what have you. So we'll get a complete diagnosis this Tuesday. My doctor's going to be calling me up for a half an hour session to let me know the way ahead. As far as the pain goes, not so bad, because I'm now on, he put me on prednisolone, which is a corticosteroid, very strong anti-inflammatory, so that's settled the pain down in the feet, if that makes sense. So less pain, still a little bit there, but fingers crossed. We'll get a diagnosis on Tuesday and find out what's going on. But that's enough for me for a little bit anyway. Let's say g'day to lots of people, and we have lots of people in the chat. 32 concurrent viewers, which is fantastic. Thank you, everybody. First of all, Shauna in Tasmania. Thank you, Shauna, for being the first of, as always. And to Valerie, being number 2. Valerie has some issues with her cheese, but we'll sort that out. G'day to Stacey, and thanks for the photo, Stacey. Who else we got? We got Robin and Kathy and Molly and David. Hello, David. Herb, of course. We've also got Lee from China, I believe. Andy and Paul. G'day, Paul. Who else we got there? Small Town Machine Shop. Nice. Sean and Liz over in New Zealand. Anthony, Red. G'day, Red. Katarina. Lovely to see you, of course. Kerfurbs. Got a question, and I'll get to that in a second. Oz5711. And All Out of Spoons. And I think that is everybody in the chat. Anyway, anybody else? G'day. If you haven't said g'day in the chat, please do jump in there. It's all good fun. Just remember, you've got to be logged into your YouTube account for anything to appear in the chat. Okay, we do have some questions. Let's have a look. What was the first one? Sorry, I think it was from Stacey. Yeah, just don't forget that you put 3 Qs in front, just like Stacey has there. So Stacey says, what are your thoughts on drying, I think it's air drying, at room temperature versus cave temperature? I've seen cave temperature recommended to prevent late blowing, but most recipes say room temperature. Would it impact flavour either way? Yeah, so there's some precautions. So a lot of people, I think mainly on the admins on Learn to Make Cheese, are now preferring to say that they should be air drying at cave temperatures about 13 degrees Celsius or 55 Fahrenheit. Mainly as a caution, because cheeses that do late blow, which are the low acid version, so any washed curd cheese, so cheese where you take some whey out of the during the process and replace it with water, really lowers the acidity and increases the danger level of cheeses that are left at higher temperatures for longer periods of time. So it is best if you do cave air dry those low acid cheeses, the washed curd style cheeses. For other cheeses like cheddar styles and hard Italians and stuff like that, room temperature is fine. Now, room temperature, my definition, is between 18 degrees Celsius or 21 degrees Celsius. So that temperature range. Anything above that, way too high. If you can't maintain those lower temperatures, here in the winter, my kitchen's usually about 18 degrees Celsius. So it is okay. So no problems at all. So as far as impacting the flavour, yes, it will, because the higher temperatures for those low acid cheeses, you'll get more lactic bacteria activity, even though there's a lot less lactose in the cheese, and it'll develop a lot quicker. So probably best at cave temperatures for those washed curd cheeses. Hope that answers your question. Hope that answers your question, Stacey. Got a super chat going on there, but there's no light. I don't know why. G'day to Paul. Thank you, Paul. Let's do a manual light. Can we do a light there? Oh, there we go. I didn't know you could do a like in the super chat. $25. That's a marathon effort. Thank you so much. Paul says, hi, Gavin. No question yet. But this will help pay for some goat's milk. Indeed, it will. $25 US is about, $40 Australian? Close to it. So, pretty close. It cost me, for the last batch, I got 12 litres with 2 litres close to the best before, so they're a little bit cheaper. But it's nearly, $5.50 a litre, or $5.50 Australian a quart, which is about, $4.20 US, close to that. So it cost me it cost me just over $60 to get the milk for this abors that I'm making on Tuesday. So, any donations will help, of course. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Next question is from Herbs. Got a recommendation based on Stacey's question. Says, I dry at room temperature. Average of 3 days, flip twice a day on average, depends on the cheese. Liz says I do the same, 3 days at room temperature, flip twice a day. Yep, cool. And Herb says, seems to work for me, but others may need to adjust. Yeah, like I said, it depends on and Anthony says I go by texture mostly. Indeed. So I think that, like I said, it's the acid type of the cheese, how much acid's in it, and also what the room temperature is. Like I said, anything over 21 degrees Celsius, then best to probably move it to the cheese cave and air dry there. Anthony says, to make baby Swiss, do you need to have a mummy Swiss and a daddy Swiss that love each other very much? For all you kids out there, yes, Anthony has hit the nail on the head. There's some baby Swiss in my kitchen. Anyway, Oz says, hi, Cheeseman. Hi, Oz. Love to see you. Anthony says, one never retires from cheese making. Yes. Yeah, you don't. Once you caught the bug, I don't know, just keep going. So, I agree, Anthony, indeed. Herb says, great way to structure retirement. Glad to hear. Thanks, Herb. And one of the reasons why Kim and I made this decision, she's going to keep working till 67. She doesn't have a superannuation. Well, she does have a superannuation fund, but it's only got a few $1,000s in it because she came over here to Australia in 97 and didn't really work, in the corporate world, that sort of stuff. so didn't get a pension. So she'll get the old age pension in combined with me when I'm 67. But as far as that 60 figure goes, that's self-funded, basically, from all the money that I've saved up. And the good thing is, a good thing here in Australia, that the... I know I'm not talking about cheese, but retirement's good fun. That because it's tax-free after 60... any funds that we make from Little Green Workshops and all that stuff can go in her name, and she'll still be under the tax-free threshold, because at the moment we're running at a loss due to low sales, have been for the last 12 months, unfortunately. However, so many business expenses are deductible, so that's how we get by, so no problems. Anyway, thanks, Herb. Anthony says, what did they use a spider to draw the blood or what? Yeah, she hit the wrong vein. I've never, because I'm left-handed. She was so quick, the lady, Natalie, lovely lady. She was so quick that she hit the left arm before I could say, don't, because I'm left-handed. So it doesn't hurt. It's just the bruise. But she hit the vein at and a funny little. They got little valves in them apparently. And stop the blood from going backwards. So she got one of those things that was opening and closing. She couldn't get the blood out. She had to jiggle it, and anyway, yeah, don't like that. All Out of Spoons has a question. Says, our Jersey is back in milk. Same cow as last year's cheese making experience. This season, none of my cheeses are pressing fully, leaving a chunky look. What could be causing this? Thanks. Good question. So it depends on how far into the lactation, I suppose, the cow is. Up front, there's a lot more protein. At the start of lactation cycle, there's a lot more protein, less fat. So maybe you just have to adjust your cheese making style at this early stage. And unless you're testing the milk for content, so fat and protein and solids and all that sort of stuff, then you won't know. But what you will experience is you may need to use the flocculation method for curd set to start with, and that's always a good starting when you don't know the structure of the milk, especially during lactation cycle. So use flocculation to test when you should cut the curd. Otherwise, you may be cutting the curd too early or too late, and therefore releasing too much whey and making the cheese really dry. So when you get to the pressing stage after you've stirred it, the curds are way too dry and they don't stick together properly. So start off, use the flocculation method, and that way you'll get a better idea when the best time is to cut the curds for your style for the style of cheese that you're making, using the flocculation table. All right, so we've got another question. Hope that helps. All Out of Spoons. Small Town Machine Stop says, my daughter put a 2-day old farmhouse cheddar I made in the freezer, and it was in there for a few days before I discovered it. If I thaw it out, will it continue to age? Will it continue to age? Good question. I'm thinking that it will. It might. Because remembering that the lactobacteria that we, they're stored in the freezer to start with, so they go dormant. However, they're freeze-dried, so when they're added to milk, they become active again and start reproducing, replicating. If you put it into the freezer, will it kill the lactobacteria? I think it'll only slow it down. If you thaw it out, yeah, it might age. Try it. You're going to have to try it. It'll be a shame to throw it away. If it doesn't work, then, you can chop it up, grate it, make American cheese or queso out of it, using some, what's it called? So, not sodium carbonate. What's it called? Sodium chloride? No, that's salt. Sodium citrate. I'm a dag. Right, using some sodium citrate as an emulsifier and make your cheese into something a bit better. So mature it out, see what happens. Just put it down to a mistake and go from there. So hope that helps. There was a question up here around cheesecloths. Kafurb says, just starting out with cheese making, when we say loose weave cheesecloth, what grade do we mean? 50, 80 or 90? The smaller so there is stuff called butter muslin. So there's two types that I use. So one's butter muslin, which is like a closed, very tight weave cloth that you cannot see through it. Okay, and that's best for the fresher cheeses and anything with a very moist curd. Okay, great to hang up things like yogurt to drain them into labna, or just strain the yogurt so it's a bit thicker. Any cream cheeses, that sort of stuff. So that's what I call tight weave cheesecloth or butter muslin. Now loose weave cheesecloth is around 80 grade. Mine don't have grades on it, they're all about 80. I've recently just got some, so hang on, I've got one here, I'll just get it. Now it doesn't have a grade on it. I'll just pull one out of the bag. Show and tell. We got everything here on the us the Cheeseman today. So will it work? Can I focus on this? So this is the grade that I'm using. There's no grade on the packet, but you can see me. You should be able to see me through it. Just okay. So I don't know if that's focusing, but that's the grade we've got. Alrighty. So that's what I recommend. I've actually got another one. These are bleached. I do have another one that is now I've got an unbleached cotton cloth as well, for those who have been asking me for unbleached cloths, like the old traditional cheesecloths. So pop that out the way. And they're the same grade basically, but a little bit more robust. But anyway, that's cheesecloths for you. That works. Okay. Next one is from Nicholas. Says about maintaining brine. If a non-brine cheeses uses X tablespoons of salt per pound of curds, would brining remove X tablespoons of brine per pound of curd? Should that be added back to keep the brine up to spec? Yes, indeed. So every time you use your brine, always add back. I always add back, especially I'm only making 1 kilo or 2.2 pound size cheeses, basically. So I add back 2 tablespoons of salt every time I finish the brine when I reuse it. Also, don't forget that lactobacteria love a good brine. So do Brevibacteria linens, Penicillium candidum, and Penicillium roqueforti. Depends on what you brined in your brine. You will find that these bacteria and molds love to live in your brine. So don't forget to boil the brine before you start making your cheese, so that it's got time to cool back down to room temperature before you put your cheese in it. Don't put your cheese in hot brine after you've pasteurised it and got rid of all those beasties again. Now, if your brine starts to smell a bit, then it's probably best to just make some more. It's so easy. I've got a brine recipe on the channel. Just go and check it out. Type in how to make brine and you'll be good to go. But yes, definitely, if you're reusing brine and it doesn't have any molds or anything like that, it's just a normal standard sort of cheese, then yeah, you reuse it over and over and over again without too many issues. Just maintain it by, like I said, pasteurising it. I just boil mine and let it cool down and add a couple more tablespoons of salt back in. And then you'll get it back up to, between 18 and 20% brine solution saturation. Saturation solution. There we go. Paul has a question. Says, my red Leicester finished a few weeks ago. It has a nice taste, but isn't as sharp as I thought it would be. and more creamier than hard. Why would that be? Aging it more now. Pretty hard to diagnose that without actually seeing you make the cheese, Paul, but to fix it, certainly to age it more, which you're doing. So that will get a little bit more crumbly, a little bit less creamier. So up front, when you're making the Red Leicester, like I think pretty sure I air dried mine for about 3 to 4 days, and I had a nice dry surface, not dry enough that it was going to crack. Remember, with the Red Leicester, you're salting it as you're air drying it as well, and that'll pull out some more moisture. So make sure you're doing that, and that makes it a little bit more crumbly as well, even though it kind of slows down the acid development of that cheese. But sharpness is determined by acid profile, which is determined by aging as well. Remembering that breaking down those fats and proteins in the cheese is what you're trying to aim for. So more time in the cheese cave, and usually these sorts of things are determined by fat content of the milk as well. So I'm not sure what the fat content is. If you know, then yeah, throw it in there. That'll be good. And the higher the fat content, the less sharp and more creamy it's going to be as well. Hope that answers your question, Paul. Molly says, an example of why the flock method is good. I only coagulated my Alpine Blossom at 22 minutes today, which is pretty good because I think the recipe says for Gruyere, or that style of cheese that Alpine Blossom is based on, is about 40 to 45 minutes normally. So it all depends on the milk, it really does, and the amount of rennet you're adding as well. Molly said, if I had to use the recipe this time, it would have been way overset. Indeed. All Out of Spoon says, I've heard of the method, but I really haven't learned how to do it yet. We'll have to learn how to do that thanks to the info. All Those Spoons, I'll just bring up the video for you, put the link in the chat. So where is it? Flocculation. Oh, come on, channel. This channel has nothing that matches flocculation. There we go. Yes, it does. Okay, can I find the... Right, here's the link. Right, so the link I'm putting into the chat is the flocculation method video. Go and check that out. It's got the tables in it and all that sort of stuff, and you'll learn heaps. So yeah, it will certainly help you in your cheese making journey. That's for sure. Stacey says, to add to Shauna's question, could we ever add a little more vinegar and calcium chloride to the brine as it ages? It's a Sean's question. Yeah, you could if you wanted to, but really, the just test the pH of the milk. The pH of the cheese should match roughly the pH of the brine, and that way it'll stop the cheese from going slimy. But remembering that really only occurs when we're marinating softer cheeses like feta, Domiati, and that sort of stuff for long periods of time in brine. When we're only brining for about between 12 and 18 hours, sometimes a little bit less depending on the weight of the cheese, the slimy thing doesn't happen. I've rarely seen it. But yeah, just make sure a little bit of vinegar, as I say in the brining recipe, a little bit of calcium chloride, and that kind of balances the brine, the pH of the brine, and has enough soluble calcium to stop the ion exchange of calcium out of the cheese into the brine and vice versa, which makes it go slimy. So you could if you wanted to, but usually those things stay fairly constant and don't get absorbed into the cheese. It's just the salt that gets absorbed into the cheese, Stacey. Sebastian has a question. It says, to answer the freezing question, the cheese will still be good. It will age, but the milk proteins will change. The cheese will not be as smooth, unfortunately, but it won't be bad. There you go. Thank you, Sebastian, for chiming in there. Always appreciated when I haven't experienced things like that. I haven't experienced everything, That's why we're a community, and it pays to jump in there when you think you've got a little bit more information than I have. So thank you so much. Nicholas, about his brine, says, never thought about boiling. Well, there you go. Herb says, flocculation is easy and my preferred method. Yeah, I think, Herb, you use a lot of raw milk, so definitely jump on the flocculation bandwagon if you've got milk that hasn't been standardised by commercialised processing. So definitely the best way to go when you get that sort of milk. So, right, now, it's time for the gallery. The alarm's gone off. Let's find it. Oh, Gav, where have you put the gallery today? Here we go. Now, before we start, big shout out to Nina and Stacey, who have contributed to the gallery this week. Thank you so much. The gallery is brought to you by you, the home cheesemakers. And this week's submission, we only have, well, we've got more than 2 photos, but we've got 2 people that have submitted. So the first one here is from Nina, and let's just zoom in on that little beauty. So Nina says, hi Gav, here's a couple of cheeses I've made recently. A 2-month-old Cornish Yarg style cheese with lemon balm leaves. We'll get to that one in a minute. And Cambenzola that's been aged for 4 weeks. Absolutely delicious, creamy with a hint of blue. I think there's another photo on said Cambenzola. Look at that. Now, I've made this cheese, or I've called mine Cam Blue because it was a lot more bluer than was Cam. Marianne over on Give Cheese a Chance. I'll give her a shout out this week. She has a perfect Cambenzola recipe. So if you want to make Cambenzola like Nina has here, which absolutely looks fantastic, and has that lovely creamy pasty texture in there. Hopefully that's not too grainy, but lovely creamy paste with a little blue hit in the middle. Go and check out Marianne's video. Can I find it? Let's have a quick look. 2 seconds. Let's go to the YouTube. Give cheese a chance. Here we are. So here's Marianne's channel. Whoop. Making Cambenzola. Here she is. Lovely. Hello, Marianne. So let's grab the link, and you can go and check that out for yourself. I'll pop it into the chat. Here we are, breaking the fourth wall. So that is a Mary Ann's cheese recipe, Cambenzola. So go and check it out. It works. It really does. She has specific instructions on how to get the blue in there, and then the white mold, and getting a decent white mold coating like Nina has here. So go and check out Mary Ann's recipe. I haven't made it yet. I've made a Cam Blue, which is a little bit different. But yeah, this one's exceptional from all of the people that have told me that it's a great recipe. Anyway, now Nina had one more photo. Here is her Yarg. Look at this. It says the Yarg tastes slightly sharp with a mushroomy aroma from the Geotrichum candidum. I use lemon juice to stick on the lemon balm leaves onto the cheese. Cheers, Nina. Doesn't that look amazing? So I've actually got some lemon balm in the garden. It grows rife. It's like a bloody weed. So I'm in 2 minds to try it myself. I'll have to just have a quick chat to Nina via email to find out how she sanitized the leaves. I think she blanched them really slightly in some boiling water for a couple of seconds, which is probably the best way to do it, because they also have some, well, they don't have stingers like stinging nettles, but they have a very, very lemony flavour. So I think, and the cheese looks perfect itself. You look at that. Look at the graininess of that. It's so nice. But yeah, so I'll have to get some more information from Nina. I think she has in the past, but I'll just ask her again. And I think we'll get one of these going. It's an exceptional looking cheese. She'll be very proud of it, I reckon. Anyway, moving right along. There's some from Stacey today. Thank you, Stacey, for sending these in. Says, hi Gav, first, I really hope you found some relief / answers to your gout at the doctor's this week. Yep, thank you Stacey, I've already mentioned that, and hopefully everybody's got an update. Here is my 17th cheese. Who's counting? But 17th cheese. This is a Colby using the New England cheese making recipe with 4 gallons of milk, which is 16 litres. It says, next will be your smoked kefili. I can't wait. Best wishes, Stacey. Anyway, so there's the curds stage. There's the first pressing. Nice. And I tell you what, you must have flipped that one over gently, because I think you give it a little bit of a knock and she'll just fall apart. Hope you were very gentle there. There's the final pressing. That looks pretty good. That's the weight. Oh, hang on. Yeah, that's the weight. Oh, back. What was the weight? What's that? It's 4 pounds 4. It's 4 pounds 4 ounces. What's that in kilograms? Alexa, convert 4 pounds 4 ounces into grams.
4 pounds 4 ounces is about 1,928 grams.
Right, so that's nearly 2 kilograms. So that's pretty good. That's a nice big cheese. There we go. And there it is. There's the Colby. Lovely. It was made, what's that, 14th of April. That's right, you got the dates around the wrong way. And it's ready in May. Nice. Colby, ready in May? I don't know about that. May 26th. That's only 1 month. Colby. What's my Colby recipe? Hang on a minute. Stop the presses. Let's go back to Gav's channel. I'm sure that my Colby recipe. Sorry, let's go back to him. I don't think it's 1 month. Let's find it. There we are. Colby. Gav. Good looking rooster. What's he say? No, that's air drying. How long? How long, Gav? Come on. It's got to be here somewhere. Oh, come on, computer. Computer says no. There we go. Right, so 10 weeks. So what's that? 2.5 months. So, Stacey, I recommend that you ripen it out a little bit longer than the 5 weeks I think you've got on your... let's have a look again. So 14th of April, May 26th, that's only 5 weeks. So you need it at 10 weeks, my friend, to get it out there. Alrighty, Stacey has another question. Hang on, we took another photo from Stacey. Oh, here it is. So she says, she's got this is a t-shirt design she's got, which says "Curd Nerd." This is her idea. I don't know if she wants me to steal it or not. I don't know. But we've got a certified, so this would have to be in capitals, Curd Nerd down there. But she's got a whole list of cheeses that match the Curd Nerd. So Ubracchio, Raclette, Derby, Knockalost, Edam, Reblochon, and Dambo, all spelling out Curd Nerd going downwards vertically. Very nice. Thank you for the little design there, Stacey. I'll have a look at it. I'll see what I come up with. If you're okay for me to use your copyrighted design, which I believe it is. Okay, now back to my head. Where is it? Where the heck is it? There we go. Thank you everybody for sending in those photos. Thank you to Nina and Stacey. I appreciate it. Stacey says, yes, lol, an idea for you to use for a shirt if you like. Thank you, Stacey. I will indeed do that. Now, how do you send in your photos to me? Well, please do, because the gallery's not very much if we haven't got photos for the gallery. So what we do is we go over to the channel page and we go to this bit here. It says, do you want to become a Curd Nerd? You just click on that and a little about box comes up, tells you about everything else. Down here, there's the email address. That's the email address that you send it to. You have to be logged on to YouTube. with your Gmail account or what have you, whatever you use to log on to YouTube. And you can click on there and you can send through photos to me. And I will pop them into the gallery for the next available Ask the Cheeseman episode. So please do that. Send them in. Send a little note on what you did and what you made. And if you've got any issues with the make, then yeah, let me know, and we'll try and diagnose them like Dr. Cheese, the Dr. Cheeseman, and we can do that. So, and don't forget, you can share the channel. You got any Curd Nerd friends? This is the place where you can share it as well. Just click this little sharey button and go for there. Anyway, very cool. Thank you everybody for sending those in. Now, before I answer any more questions, and if you've got some, pop them in the chat. I don't see many there in there. So, Stacey says here that I must have mislabeled the Colby date. Upon inspection, the recipe, I said age it to 8 weeks. I guess I don't count much. There you go. I recommend Colby out to about 10 because it is a very mild sort of cheese. It is washed curd, as you know, from doing the process, but I recommend about 10. For that size cheese, maybe even 12 weeks because it's 2 kilos. My normal recipe is made with, I think it's 10 litres, 8 to 10 litres, and that's good at 10 weeks of age, so maybe 12, Stacey. So try it between 10 and 12. There you go. Okay, so now I've got a proposal. Where is it? Hopefully this works. So I want to do another stream. I love streaming, as you can see. It's good fun. We have a lot of fun on the show. I want to do another one on Wednesdays. I used to do a Wednesday Ask the Cheeseman, which is the same as this, right? I want something a little bit different. I want to challenge myself. So this is what I propose. Let me just turn off the labels and the overlay and all that sort of stuff. So I want to do a Wednesday live stream. It's going to be at 7 p.m. my time, which would be in the morning for Europe and Africa, and middle of the day for Asia, and very early in the morning on Wednesday for East Coast US. Probably not so much. Probably pretty early in the morning for West Coast US, but and that hemisphere, North and South America. But I think I'll get a lot of people there. So this is Kim came up with this idea because I said, well, I'm looking for a new format for a show. So the working title is Your Cheese Journey, and this is what I'm hoping people will do. I'm going to ask anyway. So the premise is, tell me about your cheese making journey so far. How has it changed your life? How and why did you get started? And what were the ups and downs along the way on your journey? So the format will be a short story, no longer than 1,000 words, which is about 2.5 pages, A4 pages, but when using Word, with up to 5 photos, which I'll show in between. I'll read it out during the live stream, and there'll be, I'm hoping, I think about 2 stories per episode. And if you've got any stories about your cheese making journey that you want to share with the world on Wednesdays, then just email them to gavin@littlegreenworkshops.com.au. So I'm hoping to get that off the ground this week or next week, depends on how many stories are sent through. I will pop it into a community post as well on the channel to encourage people to send the story through. Kim remembers this sort of format. It was back on radio many years ago in the UK. I think it was on BBC Two or something. She grew up in Southampton, and there was this radio show where people would send in their life stories per se, and she reckons there was never a dry eye at the end of the reading of the story. And people have told me that I've got a nice reading voice, so that people can listen to, and it keeps people calm, and that's what you need when you make cheese. Keep calm and make cheese, as my books say. So I'd love to do that. So let me know if in the chat if you think it's a good idea. Herb says it's interesting. I'd love to hear your cheese journey, Herb. and everybody else in the chat. But yeah, you can shoot me through an email with your journey. Like I said, in this format, no longer than 1,000 words, up to 5 photos, and I'll read it out during the live stream. And 2 stories per episodes, and there's the email address that you can shoot that through to. So hopefully everybody will jump on that. And I don't know how long the legs of the show will be, depends on how many stories I get, of course, but it will be interesting, I think, to hear everybody's cheese making stories. The first episode, I'll start off with my own story, which I've already documented in Keep Calm and Make Cheese, but I'll add a little bit to that. That'll probably take up at least half a show, 30 minutes, but yeah, I think it will be good. And there are a lot of people out there that have made, even if you've only made 5 cheeses, that's a journey as far as I'm concerned. I think it'll be really interesting to watch. Sean says, I like the idea, too early for me to be present, but would watch later. Yeah, too early as in the time period, or your journey's not long enough? Yeah, probably too early in the morning. I think we're all US based. Herb said that'll be a great format. Thank you, Herb. I'm going to work on it a little bit more. If anybody's got any suggestions, pop them in the chat or shoot me, or when this is archived and you're watching this when it's not live, pop something in the comments. That would be absolutely perfect. Yeah, I can work on the format and we'll figure it out as we go along. Just like the very first episode of Ask the Cheeseman. Has anybody ever seen the first episode of Ask the Cheeseman? Let me just take you back down memory lane. Let's go to lives. Go to the oldest live stream. Goodness me. And these are the live ones. Hang on, let me just go. This is going to blow your mind. Here we go. So you can go to all live streams and go and check them out. I did the very first Ask the Cheeseman was live using Google Hangouts, and here's what it looks like. Look how blurry that is. I'm good looking. I'm a bit younger, aren't I? There's not as much grey in the beard. I don't know if you can hear that. You probably can't. But yeah, there it is. There's Gav in his study with all his gump behind him. But yeah, there was nobody on the stream for the first 15 minutes. So it wasn't until about here I actually started getting some questions. So yeah, that's the format that it first started. That's the very first Ask the Cheeseman, and it wasn't perfect. And I don't expect the new show, even though I've had a few more. Let's just stop that. I've had a few more live streams under my belt. I think the picture's a bit clearer as far as this goes, and my presentation skills are a little bit better as well. So I think it'll be a cracker of a show. So your cheese journey, or your cheese stories, it's a working title. Let me know, and we'll go from there. So thanks everybody for your feedback and stories. If you're going to send them through, that'll be really interesting. You don't have to be a perfect writer. You don't have to have perfect diction. I will make sure that it is all presented in the best possible light, of course. I don't want any of my Curd Nerd friends to be embarrassed or anything like that. It will be a nice reading of the story. Okay, Stacey has a question, of course. How long of a natural rind process is necessary for proper manchego flavour development? How soon should it be vac packed and still have a good manchego flavour profile? Would waxing be better? Okay, so manchego is one of those funny sheep's milk cheeses from Spain. And what they do to the rind of the cheese, they let it air dry for a couple of weeks. And then they coat it with Paracoat. So you see the coating on the outside of a manchego when you buy it. It actually says on the packet, do not eat the rind, because it's plastic. They put this plastic coating, or PVA coating, onto the cheese to prevent mold from growing on it. And that includes the colour. There's a little bit of colouring they add on to the outside of the cheese. So if we're going to do it the home cheesemaker style, then it's, you know, I would age it probably no more than a month, remembering that it's very hard to keep mold off of a cheese when you naturally ripen it. You've got to maintain it, brush it, all that sort of stuff, which is why they put the plastic coating on it, the commercial manchegos. It just makes it a lot easier for them. And also in manchego, they also add in lysolac as well, which is the egg white derivative, to prevent late blowing in the cheese. So if you can get your hands on some, pardon me, if you can get some hands on some lysolac, that they actually list it on the ingredients of the manchego. There you go. So waxing would be better, I would think, than vacuum packing, because oh gee, I forgot to show everybody. Goodness me, I'm a dork. Talking of manchego molds, I have one. Guess who sent it to me? That lovely lady called Tracy. So Tracy from cheeseneeds.com. This is not sponsored or anything like that. This is just her being a lovely friend. Sent me a manchego mold. So a manchego mold comes with this inner insert, and try and get this focused. I don't know, is that focusing on my head? Right, so you can see on the inside of the mold, there's the basket weave pattern, which, you know, back in the old days they'd use plastic. They use, proper baskets, and that sits inside the mold. So you just compress it a bit, put that in there, squeeze it in, and then put your curds in there, so you get the lovely pattern from the manchego. And you got a little follower as well. Put that in front of my head. There you go. And there we go. And that fits in, and as you press it. So, so the basket. So because it's got that pattern on the cheese, it's best to wax it, not vacuum pack, because vacuum packing is going to compress the pattern and make it go all squishy, and you're not going to get a nice pattern on the manchego. So it's best to wax it if you're going to wax it, or paracoat it like they do. Now, Tracy also sent me some nice little goodies. I know she does these little magnets and stickers and stuff. She sent me, there we go. Is that going to work? A sticker, milk, culture, rennet and salt. That's what you're having. That's what's in cheese. A magnet. Cheese, the only culture some people have. Oh, I like that. These are like my jokes. What's this one? Acting normal, thinking about cheese. Very nice. You're great. Now, I don't know if she's got this merch on her merch store. I don't know if she just throws these in, but are you hungry or like cheese hungry? Very nice. And I don't know what the question is, but the answer is cheese. Indeed. And something that I think I've said a few times, life's too short for crappy cheese. And there's a cheese actually made with the manchego mold, so very nice indeed. So these are all stuff. If you like her stuff, pop over to Cheese Needs. Does she put anything else in there? I think that's it. There's a nice little personal note, of course, but that's for me, not for you. Yeah, so yeah, very interesting, and you can go and check out Tracy's store over at cheeseneeds.com if you want. No affiliation with my store, Little Green Workshops, of course, but she's in Canada, I'm in Australia, so a little bit far apart, and if you're in Canada, go and check out our store. Now, Stacey says, I forgot to add, it would be cow's milk cheese, so technically not manchego. Indeed, so in technically it would be what's known as Hispanico, so which is manchego made with, or you can call it cowchego. Manchego made with cow's milk. Monica says, question, I can't find Thermo B. Everybody around me says hard cheese, which is hard cheese culture. I have TA61, LH100 and MOT9296, and I'm wanting to make some Guidos. Okay, so I made Guidos with Thermo B because that's one of the thermophilic cultures that I had. MOT92 contains, and have I gone over? No, we've got enough, just got enough time to go and check it out. So let me just go to my product page for MOT92 so I can give you the right facts, because off the top of my head I can't remember. Thermophilic culture. Right, here we go. So, second monitor. So, MOT92 is used to produce mozzarella, parmesan, provolone, Swiss, Gruyere, other Italian-style cheeses. It has in it Lactococcus lactis subspecies lactus, which is a mesophilic culture. It also has Lactobacillus helveticus, which is the same as LH. Whatever you said there, what was it? LH100 is Lactobacillus helveticus. It also has a little bit of Lactobacillus delbrecki subspecies vulgaris, which is not in any of the cultures you got there, except for the MOT92, and some Streptococcus thermophilus, which is in TA61. That's all it is ST. So what you could do, I've used MOT92 before, no problems at all for Guidos. So you could just use that, or you could use half and half of the TA61 and LH100. Now, Thermo B has in it ST and LB, or Lactobacillus delbrecki vulgaris, which is the other thermophilic, not helveticus. So it will taste very similar. It's a very short aged cheese anyway. I don't think you're going to have too many problems at all by using either half and half of TA61 and LH or the MOT92. So don't think you have any problems. There you go. Monica, I hope that answers your question. Just chime in if you're happy with that. Titus says, I will make a cultured buttermilk cheese soon, Sir Gavin. Indeed. Remembering back to a few that I've done, I've made the triple pepper jack, had a bit of cultured buttermilk in it. I don't know if I'd do that again. I just use normal starter culture, I think. Some Floridanica probably would be best. Because it was quite crumbly, remember. Probably because of the chilies and all that stuff made a really high acid cheese. So that was one I've made. And the other one I made was buttermilk blue, which was just, to die for. What a beautiful cheese that was. So that was a nice buttermilk cheese as well. Last few questions. Davo says, if I can't get sheep's milk, I want to make something like manchego. Is there a good similar recipe? Indeed, cowchago. Answer. There we go. So Davo, let me just find the recipe for you, mate. So you're doing, it was a very old one on the channel. Let me just find that for you. And I'll put the link into the search. Here we go. Second monitor. And we want manchego. Manchego. Here we go. Did I? No, I've just got man. How do I spell it? It's not how you spell it. Man. Oh, we got so many cheeses. Isn't that lovely? Could be a manchego here somewhere. Where the heck are you? It must be that old that it can't find it. My goodness. I know it's here somewhere. Come on, Gav. Find it. People are going to click off the stream if you don't hurry up. Manchego, goodness me. It's not here. I cannot find it. You'll have to have a go. Look on the channel. Sorry about that. It's just not there. I know it's there because I made one. And I'm not sure if there's actually a taste test either. But we've got another super chat. Thank you, Stacey. Appreciate it. Let me just make the light happen. It's obviously not happened automatically today. Good old YouTube's let me down. But yeah, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate the $5. Hopefully that I've helped you out today, Stacey, and all the things you need to. A little birdie told me from Little Green Workshops that there may or may not be a birthday present winging itself to you from your son, from our shop. Maybe. But anyway, I won't let the cat out of the bag, but hopefully you have a fan a fantastic time. Oh, Sean has found it. Queso Manchego is what I called the cheese. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I call it anything else? Let's have a look. I found it. Right, I found the link. Hang on, I'll pop that in there. Sorry about that. There we go. There's Queso Manchego, or Queso Tipo Manchego. So cheese-like Manchego is what I called it. It's a cow's milk style, which is really is Cowchago, which if I remade it again, I'll do it again. There you go. Stacey's obviously happy that she's got a birthday present coming her way. There we go. That's it for today, Curd Nerds. Thank you so much for joining me today. We've had lots of people. Great week. If you have a story, I will then your cheese journey, then don't forget to send it in straight after this. Sometime today, I'm going to be putting that up as a community post to let people know to send it in, and hopefully this week, this Wednesday, and I'll schedule it. You'll see it in the list of live streams for the channel. We will we'll have the very first Your Cheese Journey stories. So that'll be good fun. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, there we go. That's cheese class over for today. Thank you, Curd Nerds, for attending. And it's been lovely having you on. Don't forget that if you want to learn how to make cheese in a structured manner, I have a course over at courses.littlegreenworkshops.com. There's a little beginners and a blue cheese course, which a few people signed up for this week. So fantastic. And you can get all your cheese making supplies over at littlegreenworkshops.com.au. We send them all over the world. Now, if you want some merch like this amazing cup, Certified Curd Nerd, you can pick it over up at merch.cheeseman.tv. Go and check it out over there. Thanks for watching, Curd Nerds, and we will see you same time, same channel, but maybe with a Wednesday live stream this week, and obviously a video. We're going to have a video as well, a normal one. So we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.